Hi and welcome, happy campers, to our amazing live chat here in the Leslie Inc. offices with our VP of Development, Anna Gomez.
Hi.
We want to know, do you worry about the future? I know I do sometimes, and that's okay because we're here living in the present, and there's so many moving parts to our lives that thinking about the future is a normal part of being an entrepreneur, a business owner, because we're planning ahead. The downside of planning ahead, though, is that we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know what our life's going to be like, for better or for worse. So there is some anxiety when we're thinking about the future. Anna, you've got the Women's Financial Freedom Tour here, actually, coming up. Here in
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. We've got 7 confirmed stops.
Yeah,
in San Diego here. Mm-hmm. And you have been very, very busy. In fact, you've been busy for months leading up to this tour. This is not just something that has happened magically, but it's been something that you've been planning for. Mm-hmm. During this time, have you been stressing? Have you been worrying? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, how can I say? Yeah, I'm like anyone else. I worry about the future. I worry about where I'm going, where I'm headed, how this will turn out. You know, you have this idea in your head of what you want to accomplish. And a lot of times you're just chugging away, grabbing those little pieces and talking to people and putting them together to create a beautiful product. Like the Women's Financial Freedom Tour with all of our events. And yeah, you worry. I worry about it all the time. Like, will it be successful? Will people show up? Will we be able to spread our message correctly? Will people resonate with what we're doing? Will we get that support, and what will that lead to, So I'm always thinking about those things. But I try to manage it.
Right. Well,
I try not to let those fears prevent me from moving forward.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is normal to worry and to stress about the future. Being a part of the Happy Camper community and being a happy camper, especially in the Leslie Inc. world, is that it's okay. It's okay to admit that you're worried. It's okay to admit that you're anxious, and it's okay to feel stressed, especially when you're a business owner. And there are things that you want to achieve, and you need to make money while doing them, right? Yeah. And supporting your family and scaling your business and all of those other aspects of being an entrepreneur or a manager or a leader. So that's perfectly fine. But to not take care of the stress and the anxiety as you are planning and doing the things that you need to do, that becomes an act of neglect. And as we say, as I've said in the Money Formula book, is that neglect is destructive.
Yeah.
So how do you take care of yourself? What skills have you learned along this way to mitigate that stress, that worry, the anxiety?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I have to say, being a happy camper and being part of the happy camper community, what I love is that the resources we provide, right? So if I ever need an inspiration or a refresher, I honestly go to your blog, the happiness blog, the happiness blog, and the podcast, because sometimes just hearing repeat of what Michelle Dexter taught us, or something that Dr. Bloom taught us, or just hearing Pam and the stories that they have, it helps me feel good, and it just reminds me and refreshes me that yes, it's okay to have these fears, acknowledge them, and you can work through them and move forward.
And you're not alone.
Yes, you're not alone. Yeah, and I think that's a great asset that we provide for everyone, and it's free, right? And I use it.
Or the Happiness Dex app.
Oh yes, okay.
I just thought about that.
That's something that I do, like when I'm like, I wonder what the universe wants me to do, kind of. I just play with it. So definitely those are fun things that we provide, and I use them on a regular basis. So that's great to have. But for me, what I do when I'm stressing about the future, or I just feel that anxious feeling of like, oh, I'm working so hard. What is this going to lead up to?
I know.
One of the first things I do is I do what you always say is calm the physical first, right? Get to that calm state. So I'll do breathing, usually in my car right before a meeting. I'm like, calm down. It's okay. And I do a little bit of meditation. I have my like little mantra that you help me develop. You know, it's confidence. It's okay. Just having conversations with people. So I try to get myself firstly in that calm physical state.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then if it's serious, where I feel like, oh my God, like what am I doing? You know, will this tour do what I want, or is this going where I want it to go, or is that meeting beneficial? How should I go with that? And I'm having my doubts. I usually do a lot of the things that, you know, as we had in that previous podcast that we did with Michelle. I mean, I love what they're doing with the energy. Healing, really. I don't know all the terms, but you know, just using like going into that emotion, self muscle testing, and then doing what she had taught, you know, the whole going into the
CBGB point and touching the emotional control
exactly,
on the forehead.
Exactly. And just using those protocols really help. And just kind of, yeah, it's like a weight has been lifted, right? And it's awesome stuff.
It is awesome stuff.
I'm so grateful to have come into that resource of all that you provide and the audience and the community that you built, because it's just awesome to just be able to have a problem and know that there are other people that have that problem and that there's an actual way to solve that problem.
Right. And you know what I love, actually, now that I'm listening to you say that, is that being in the Happy Camper community and the people who are joining us, for example, on the Women's Financial Freedom Tour.
Yes, our community organizer, our partners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even the people who've been on our podcast before, the experts that I've brought on, my friends, there's always someone that you can turn to. Mm-hmm. And that there's always a resource. You're never alone. Mm-hmm. And if you find yourself alone, of course, go reach for the Happiness blog or get the Happiness Dex app, which is so funny because Josh, mm-hmm. who developed the app with me, says, I have this issue in this meeting. Let me go see what the deck says. And then he'll come back and say, you know, my card of the day said philanthropic spirit or something like that. And so you get these fresh ideas, right? Because we're so worried and stressed about the future, and we get caught up in that feeling of worry, of fear, and it becomes kind of like a pain. And it becomes stuck in our body. So when we introduce new ideas, new perspective, that it breaks that physical disruption that mm-hmm. we're experiencing, that for me especially manifests as physical pain and discomfort. So definitely check those out. We have a lot of resources in terms of feeling good and feeling better. And if you are interested in what I'm saying, tune into the episode on the Happiness podcast with Dr. Ellen Bloom on how to heal yourself in an instant without drugs. That one's one of my favorites because you don't need to have drugs or pharmaceuticals. Start with something different. Start by managing your energy. Start by managing your mental focus, your emotional focus, and then see what happens after that. Most of the time, our worry stems from a fear. Mm-hmm. A fear that we're not good enough. A fear that nobody will listen to us. A fear that everything that we're doing is not going to add up. So start with that and identifying what those fears are, those limiting beliefs, and then start to break them down.
And tying that in, I'm just thinking of, you know, you say Josh uses the app or the Happiness Dex app, and what I've been getting a lot is financial focus. So it's like focus on your finance, and who doesn't think about the future? I mean, I think about the future and I instantly think of like, okay, money, right? Where am I going to get? You know, where am I going to go? Where's the next contract? Where's the next business? You know, because that's my job. You know, where's
always hunting for the next thing.
Where's the next development? Where's the next venture that we're going with Leslie Inc.? You know, so I'm always have that in my brain and my mind. You know, and it's just, you know, going back to the Money Formula book, what you're doing, and I'm not the only one that feels that way. I mean, you've helped hundreds of people, you know, deal with that fear of the future, of the financial focus and finances as well. So
that's so true, because thinking about just getting the Money Formula published.
Oh yeah, girl.
You remember that? I didn't even know if I was going to find a publisher, and I had a literary agent, and she was like,
Well, you wrote the book so quick when you got the inspiration to do it. You were just like, oh, I have it. And then I think it was like in January, you were like, okay, how do we publish this? Where is it going? You know what I mean? Like, how are we going to do this? You know, you tried the traditional route.
Yeah, and it didn't work.
But how did you figure that out? How did you deal with that?
Okay, so this is what happened. This is kind of like the story that led to publishing The Money Formula. I wrote The Money Formula in pretty much 24 hours, very much like Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. And I was like, okay, I wrote the book because I already had my case studies, wrote the book, and then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Mm-hmm. So I went on this traditional research of, okay, I'm going to publish this book. Let me go and find the traditional way. So I bought a lot of books and I started tapping through my network and got a literary agent, but that took me 6 months, 4 or 5 months to get that done. Mm-hmm. And even still then she was like, well, that's not going to take another year or two for it to finally get done. Yeah. And then I felt like I was going through these loops. Mm-hmm. And jumping through these hoops to get this process done. And I remember being very, stressed about this and worried that I was not going to be able to bring this to the world, that I would fail. Mm-hmm. And a fear of failure is a very common fear. And I was so stressed and worried about it that I couldn't even channel spirit because I couldn't get out of my own way.
It was almost like you were scared for the future of your book. Like, where was this going?
I couldn't even see it. I didn't even have a clear vision because I didn't know what God wanted me to do with this book. So what happened is that I had to just go to sleep and dream on it. Oh. So that was, instead of channeling spirit or getting, seeing a psychic or something, I just decided, okay, I'm going to dream about this. So what I would do is I would ask the question and I would say, God, what do you want me to know about publishing this book? That's usually how I ask a question. God, what do you want me to know about XYZ? So I went to sleep on it and I started having dreams. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you guys in the Happy Camper community, but in our house, our entire family every day wakes up and we say, what did you dream about?
It's like a ritual. Like, good morning. What did you dream about? So true. Even the kids.
Yeah. My 4 and 5-year-old are like, good morning.
I dreamt about this.
Exactly. So I
came into my dream.
Exactly. So I went to sleep and I had this dream of one day I was in an airplane or in an airport and I was so scared that I was not going to get to where I wanted to go. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this woman let me get on this plane and this woman was like, oh, I'll take you there, but I'm going to take you the fast way. Yeah. And instead of flying, she takes us on this highway straight to this other place.
On a plane.
In a plane. And then all of a sudden she's like, I'm going to get you there, but in like half the time. Mm-hmm. And this woman, I could remember her. She was a more mature woman. She wasn't an old woman. She was a mature woman. She had light, dirty blonde hair, and she seemed like she was just an expert. And she's like, I'm gonna get you to the right person. So I get in this plane and we take off and I go transport it and I'm going like, what is going on? So I tell you, and I remember telling you this, I said, oh, I had a dream. And what Spirit's showing me in the dream was that there's going to be a woman who's going to help me do it even faster. Yeah. And it wasn't too much longer after that when we met.
Well, serendipitously, there was an issue with one of the associations. Remember?
With WSA, there was a billing problem.
Yeah, and so we had a meeting with Gail,
the president.
Yeah, and she was like, well, why are you doing it that way? Why are you going through the traditional routes of getting a literary agent and then waiting for a year and then you're not going to own your rights? Because she's experienced in publishing. And she says, there's another option. And Leslie's like, well, what do you mean? Exactly. What do you mean there's another option? It's like, she was like, well, we publish books and you get your own ownership of the book and we can help you with global distribution rights.
And the woman who we met was Karen Strauss.
Yeah, and then she led us to Karen Strauss.
And Karen Strauss is essentially the editor-publisher of our book. Yeah. And this woman is a powerhouse. and she knows everyone. And in fact, as we're talking right now, she's talking to Barnes and Noble about getting us into the actual stores and global distribution rights. And I still own my book 100%.
Yeah.
So it went from, having a literary agent to having to jump through all these hoops. And of course, this woman was great, this agent. It was just the traditional world of publishing that was not suited for me. And I remember hearing myself going like, okay, I'm not a traditional person. My career is nothing.
Not traditional.
Exactly. It's totally unusual. Why should I expect myself to take traditional routes?
Yeah, pretty much.
So instead of taking the plane, I took the plane on the highway, like in my dream. And so when we signed with WSA and with Karen Strauss, it was as if we just punched it and got to warp speed, and everything started to happen together. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like, oh, once we did this, it was all easy street. It was a lot of like learning and meetings and questions and trying to navigate our way, but trusting your intuition and knowing yourself. Again, me going, why should I expect myself to go the traditional way when I'm not a traditional person? Kind of honoring myself took away that anxiety from the process.
Yeah.
And knowing yourself really takes that away and helps you to jump forward in the best ways that are for you. And that takes care of a lot of the anxiety elements. So that was the story for getting the book published. And it is coming out October 9th.
I know. How many days is that? Wait, what day are we?
A few days.
4 days?
Yes.
Woo! 4 days! Did you get your copy?
And I want to say, also, I'm just looking on the computer screen right now. Everybody's saying hello. So thank you for joining.
Hi.
Hi. We're here live on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. And I also want to say, Anna, we've had a ton of pre-orders for the book.
I know. That is so exciting. How many did you get? Like today you had like what? I think like seven in the last 48 hours or something crazy like that.
Last 24 hours.
Yeah, last 24 hours.
So we're selling books like hotcakes.
Yeah.
And if you buy it through our website, actually, you'll get a personal note from me with your order and extra Leslie Ink goodies and an invitation to download the Happiness Index app free. So that's the incentive to go through us. Of course, you can go Amazon. It's already available now. $6.99 for Kindle. You can go to Barnes and Noble. I think Books A Million or Barnes and Noble has a promo too if you order through them.
Yep.
And I think Kubu or Kabu or whatever it is it's an electronic book service that's available. So we are literally available all over the country. So pre-order your book now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to say, Anna, I have worried about the future, but the more and more I learn all of these tips and techniques that other experts have taught me and that I teach all of our clients and our happy campers, and even some techniques, the techniques that we're teaching in our free webinar attached to the Money Formula Academy, which will be coming out very soon. In the free webinar that we'll be welcoming you to come and check out. That is the 5 limiting beliefs that are costing you money that you didn't know you had, and how to break free from this one technique. And I teach you what these 5 limiting beliefs are and how to break free from them. So stay tuned for that. When that comes out, I'll post the link so you can sign up for that webinar. But that's something that Josh and I have been working very hard on because we've been really dedicated towards helping people break free from financial limitations.
Yeah. And I think that's the real value in all of that we're doing is that we're helping you become a better person and giving you the resources to do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Learn, take what we're giving you and create the life that you want, right?
Yeah.
There's no limit. There is absolutely no limit.
There's no limit in the happy camper world. Honestly, true abundance is really experiencing what you love on a more consistent basis. Not my idea of what you should be living. I don't think you need to do 100 push-ups or eat all vegan if you don't want to, but I mean, it would be great for the planet, whatever, but really it's about curating and crafting a conscious lifestyle of your choice.
Yes.
And to help you create a world that is happier and healthier. So again, we have tons of resources, and the money formula is coming out, and we want you to take control of how you feel about your financial future, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Amen. Yeah.
So I want to say thank you so much. I hope these tips have helped you in terms of worrying about the future. You don't have to be a victim of circumstance. You can look for the silver lining in unexpected circumstances. And with the tips and the tools that we teach you, you will feel ready to deal with any challenges that life throws your way, starting with what we teach you here and in all the resources that we offer. So if you are interested in learning more about the Money Formula and the Women's Financial Freedom Tour, join us at themoneyformula.leslieinc.org and leslieinc.org/freedom tour. Get more information, sign up to become a community partner, community organizer, get the free zine to learn more and get some important statistics on the challenges that women face when it comes to their financial future, and become a part of the community. Get these resources, get to know us, reach out to us. Let's start this conversation.
Let's start it.
So enjoy your Fridays. We're going to take this live episode and turn it into a podcast for the State of Happiness, and that will be coming out on the day that we launch our book, The Money Formula, on October 9th. Tuesday! So thank you all for joining. I appreciate you. I see your comments in there in the live feed, and I will be sure to respond to you. Thank you so much. And remember, a smile goes a long way.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.